In the heart of a Muru village, where the sun rose with songs and the wind carried whispers of the ancestors, lived a young girl named Adaora. She was the first child of Mama Njideka, a widow known for her sharp tongue and bitterness. Adaora had two younger brothers, both adored and praised by their mother. But for Adaora, her life was full of hardship, hunger, and cold stares. "I should have left you in the river when you were born," her mother would shout whenever Adaora made a mistake. She cooked, cleaned, fetched firewood, and sold tomatoes in the sun, yet her mother only saw her as a burden. But Adaora was kind, always helping elders in the village and singing songs to calm crying children. What nobody knew was that she carried a mark of light, a spiritual symbol hidden beneath her hair, a gift from her late grandmother, the village priestess. A gift of protection and destiny. One evening, as the moon cast shadows over Amuru, Mama Njideka gathered her children. "We are going on a journey," she said, her eyes cold and mouth stiff. "There's a festival in the next village. Adaora will go ahead through the bush path." Adaora looked confused. "Alone, Mama?" "Yes," Mama barked. "You are old enough to walk. We'll follow soon behind." Carrying a small bag of dry gari and a calabash of water, Adaora set off into the forest path. But she noticed something strange. No sound of crickets, no birdsong. The silence was heavy and the trees whispered secrets. After a while, she reached a clearing. There her mother stood alone. "Mama, how did you get here?" "I took the short path," Mama Njideka lied. Then her face turned fierce. "Adaora, this is where your journey ends." Adaora froze. "What do you mean?" "You were never meant to live. You are cursed. Since you came into my womb, my life became bitter. Your father died after you were born. You bring misfortune. Tonight the evil forest will eat you and I will be free." Before Adaora could speak, her mother pushed her hard. She stumbled into the thick, dark bushes. Branches scratched her and thorns bit into her skin. She screamed, "Mama!" But her mother had already vanished. Night fell fast. The evil forest, feared by everyone in the region, was said to be home to spirits, witches, and angry ancestors. The wind hissed like a snake and shadows danced like ghosts. Adaora sobbed quietly, curling under a tree. Suddenly she heard footsteps, not of animals, not of humans. From the darkness a glowing figure appeared, an old woman with white eyes and a staff made of bones. "You should be dead, child," the spirit said. Adaora shook in fear. "I don't know why my mother hates me." "She hates the light in you," the spirit said, walking around her. "But I see what your grandmother gave you." "Touch your forehead," Adaora did. A soft light shimmered from her skin. "You carry the mark of the old ones. You were born to protect, not to die. But first, you must survive." The spirit touched Adaora's chest and vanished in a gust of wind. And Adaora awoke the next morning to find herself surrounded by fresh water and wild fruits. The forest had changed. The trees no longer whispered threats but hummed soft lullabies. Somehow she was being protected. For days she lived in the forest, learning to listen. Animals didn't fear her. Birds brought her food. The wind warned her of dangers. Then one night she heard a voice crying for help. She ran and found a young boy trapped in a snare, bleeding. "Help me," he whispered. Without fear, Adaora tore the trap and carried him to a safe place. She fed him, dressed his wound, and stayed by his side for 3 days. The boy Obina was the son of Eze Ifeoma, the ruler of a distant kingdom. He had been kidnapped and left for dead by those who wanted to overthrow his father. When he returned home with Adaora, the king summoned her. "Who is this girl who saved my son?" Adaora bowed her head. "Just a girl thrown away by her mother." The king, moved by her courage, adopted her into the royal house. She was sent to school dressed in fine clothes and walked with guards. Her story spread across the land, the girl who came from the evil forest and found favor with kings. Years passed. Adaora grew into a wise and beautiful woman. She opened a home for abandoned children, remembering her own pain. Then one market day, an old weak woman came to the city gates. Her clothes were torn, her eyes were hollow. It was Mama Njideka. She had lost everything. Her house had burned, her sons had run off. She begged for food on the streets. When she saw Adaora on a royal horse surrounded by guards, her knees failed. "My daughter, forgive me." Adaora looked at her for a long time. Then she dismounted. "I am no longer the child you threw into the forest," she said calmly. "But I will not repay evil with evil. Come, you will eat. But remember, the forest remembers. The spirits remember, and I remember.